I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
Welcome back. So, if you live in California and you live in an area of Los Angeles that was affected by these fires, and you found out that all your tax money that should go into paying for cities infrastructure, road, basic services like maybe having water and hydrants, when you found out your property was burning for 45 minutes before the fire department even showed up and that the hydrants were empty, you got to understand this was not a failure. This was a success, and amazing success. When you rate success, you want to go between where you began and where you were and where you are now. The elements that it took to make this happen were not there 10 years ago. This took elaborate planning, structure, and it also took putting the correct people in place, penetrating cabinets, moving certain people into positions of power in government with elections and voting and rigging and all types of different things. In my opinion, you're looking at this the wrong way because you have a normalcy bias. You are used to things being a certain way for such a long period of time that you let your guard down. You have two things that have protected you your whole life if you live in the United States. It's called the Pacific and the Atlantic. Those have now been crossed. How mad are you? Are you mad enough to change your ways? Are you mad enough to do anything about it? I don't think so. Not if you're in California. They've literally told people in California that the teachers are now legally allowed to talk to your kids about sex and groom them. In the LA Unified School District, you didn't pull your kids. You don't really care. But it's okay to virtue signal on the internet. But whose fault is it as an adult that you don't pay attention? It's no one else's but yours. You have to hold yourself responsible. But what we'll do is we'll talk about how the success happened. You see these fires as a failure. I view them, I look at things from a bigger point of view because this is bigger than you. This is bigger than Los Angeles. This is bigger than your property and your belongings. This is bigger than fires. This is a global agenda. And you're just a snowflake in an avalanche. And I'll show you how, and we'll go over it today. There are some very key players when this is involved in all of this. I don't know if you guys remember how I end all of my episodes. I say, fuck the World Economic Forum, fuck the World Health Organization, and fuck Klaus Schwab. Some people ask me, why do I say that? The fact that you don't know in the year 2025 why I say fuck Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum means you're uninformed. You're not paying attention. And kind of whatever happens to you next, you're not even really a victim. You volunteered for it. I'm from Los Angeles. I saw what was coming. I got out of the way. Many of us did. Didn't you wonder why we left and you didn't? Why would we leave our homes where our businesses are, our families are, everything we know is in California? Why would we purposely leave and move to the other side of the country? Just all of a sudden when the lockdowns happen. You didn't ask yourself the right questions. So we'll start off with why you think it's a failure. California dad who tried to save his home from flames before water ran out says leadership absolutely failed us. You think leadership failed you. Leadership actually is going to be rewarded because leadership is, they're under the World Economic Forum. This is all top-down instructions. So the leadership actually, they failed the people. They succeeded in their employers and the people that pay them. This was a massive, honestly, and the success is growing as the LA fires grow. This is amazing that from somewhere so far away in Europe, they can orchestrate all of this to happen in a place like California. But the first thing they had to do was they had to get competent, straight white men out of the way. And they were able to successfully do that which is using the local populations, manipulation, shaming, social justice nonsense. And they were able to get those people who would have prevented this or noticed this and stopped it, the Patriots, they would have got, they would have been able, they got those people out of the way completely. This was a massive success. It was an amazing success. But let's start with why you think it's a failure. Oh my God, these commercials are killing me. But it's not very long.
Beautiful home office that I loved. Yeah, I was sitting on a Zoom call, just like this. My wife couldn't sort it in, like fire posts, like in a frantic Zoom call. We then got a phone call from my son. My 9-year-old son, Grayson Marquez. He was scared. He asked his teacher if he could borrow the phone. He doesn't have a phone. He called us, and he said that they were evacuating. He said, "Mom, Dad, I'm scared to see flames on the hill." It was from the vantage point of Marquez. It looked up to where we lived. Right here, you can see the flames. And he was scared. Filled up every tip, filled up every sink. We went on the towers, put in the doors, we pulled out the hoses, we put out the fire extinguishers. You know, we started getting all of the.
One thing I noticed in this picture is the thing I've been complaining about in California for years. We don't have clear blue skies anymore. What's this? What's this right here? This streak.
We try to replace them in the house.
Let's see here.
School, things that would be hard to. There's, we did.
They've gotten us so used to seeing chemicals in our sky that we don't even know what we're looking at. That's smoke. These are chemical streaks. He never said anything about those. He's only worried about the fire right in front of him. Sir, you have to be worried about everything. You're a man. You're supposed to be paranoid. You have children and a wife that depends on you. So it's not necessarily a failure of the local. You've also failed yourself because you're depending on other people. And that's a failed strategy. We should have all learned that by now.
We did everything. We started getting all of the. We replaced them in lives. So all of the things that would be hard to replace. My wife and I are high school sweethearts. We met when we were senior, junior high school. So stuff like all the way back to our beginnings.
Beautiful story. Let's keep
it was scary. I mean, watching and hearing her narrative as she's driving through what are literal fires on the right, on the left, on the roads. This was the moment where all of the people were trying to get out of the lines and get scared.
Now, I've been on the 405 freeway driving between the Valley and LA, and I've seen fires on the side of the freeway so close I could feel the heat when the window was rolled down. This is normal. This happens all the time. What doesn't happen is homes that have fireproof roofs, the roof melts. How? How did it get that bad? And I'm going to show you. People, and I'll be probably one of the first people to tell you this. I haven't seen anyone else post about it. The DEW laser thing is a real possibility. But the truth of the matter is it's something a little bit scarier because no one's considering it. What I believe happened to my home city in my home state of California, Los Angeles, is I believe California was hit with a cyber attack, which Klaus Schwab and the World Health Organization said would literally be the thing that would make COVID look like a minor traffic jam on the freeway. Literally, they told us ahead of time. They warned us. The problem is when somebody warns you about something like this, there's really not much you can do about it. Like I said on the live last night, someone can tell you, they can tell you the day you're going to die. There's no way for you to prevent it because you don't know how it's going to happen on that day. So no matter where you are, it could be something in the room. You could hide in a basement. It could be a panic room and it's something in the room. There's a gas leak. You don't know. So really somebody telling you this information ahead of time, there's only so much you can do about it besides maybe stay out of public, crowded places. You really can't do much with the information. However, in these situations, if you know there are certain places that are being specifically targeted, you might not want to be in those places. So these people the fire spreads so fast, but it's so intense. It's not a regular brush fire. It's not from the accelerants in the paint. It's not because of gas cans. It's something to do with the power source is something electrical. Now, can you remotely detonate a Tesla battery if you use a stucknet virus like they used when they attacked Iran centrifuges with their nuclear program? Absolutely. Do people talk about that? Absolutely not. Because if you talk about it, they can't do it. Because then you will just seem like you'll seem like you're a prophetic. That's how you know it's something you need to look out for, because nobody's talking about it. I've been talking about Teslas exploding and being remotely detonated for about 4 years now, since I own a Tesla, and they're all on the same server. And I literally read the news to everybody about what happened in Iran. You see what they just did in Lebanon, where they had all those beepers explode in people's pockets, and people still don't understand the mechanics behind that. In this situation, we're looking at people's homes. And I'll prove to you and I'll show you why this was a coordinated cyber attack. This is a 15-minute city. This is a map of Los Angeles. This is where these people are. This is where they want you to be, in the core. They do not, all this area on the coastline, the forest, all this area where it's already scarcely populated, Malibu, they want all of this area to be blocked off from human access. That is a part of the sustainability goals of the World Economic Forum Agenda 2030. They do not want people in the rural areas. They want everyone in the cities. When I first read about these plans years ago, I was like, well, how the hell are they going to do that? Why would everyone just want to live in the cities? Now I'm starting to see the play. So this is from the year 2017. Actually, no. Before we go into this article, let's go into let's talk about 15-minute cities. We'll talk about the World Economic Forum. We'll talk about Klaus Schwab, and then we'll go into that.
2 million people through 15-minute cities. 3 days of public hearings on the plan began at City Hall this morning. Shilan Skalski has more.
The 50 new district plans and corresponding bylaws will replace 54 existing planning documents dating back to the 1980s. Administration says the goal is to accommodate 600,000 new residents in redeveloped areas, with 50% of all new home units added through infill. The plan also calls for half of all future travel to be done by transit, and for residents to access all their daily needs within 15 minutes. Not everyone supports the plan.
My understanding is that this means I will need to stay within my district to meet all my needs so that the city can meet its climate plan objectives. I don't think
you will not be able to go where you want to. Your car, pretty soon, in these areas, outside of this, an electric car will not work outside of this grid. Your electric car won't work in the hills, the mountains. It won't work on the coast. It won't work in any of these areas that have been where humans are not allowed. And they're going to say it's for sustainability of the environment. This is the goals of all these people that are activists. Oh, climate change nonsense. This is their goal. They do not want humans everywhere. They want humans in small 15-minute cities that are more so districts. The Hunger Games society is upon us. Let's see what else she has to say.
I think Edmontonians can afford to be part of a renovation experiment of this size so quickly.
I think unfortunately a lot of the district plan in particular have been derailed by 15-minute cities, conspiracy theories, World Economic Forums, etc. At the end of the day, this is about land use.
Oxford, they have climate lockdowns work hand in hand with 15-minute cities. You will be tracked and trapped in your suburb and happy about it. Remember, the goal is by the year 2030, you will own nothing and you will be happy. A month ago, all of the people that lived in these areas thought that that was a joke. Today, in January 2025, these people own nothing. You lost your house that was not insured with all your property in there. you're no longer a homeowner. If the home was paid off and it was gifted to you from a family member that passed away, you are no longer a homeowner. You will not have insurance that will replace it. None of these, I keep telling everybody, stop thinking with a normalcy bias. There will not be a grand mass redevelopment of these areas. Palisades will not be rebuilt bigger, better, and better. Palisades is gone. Within the next 2 weeks, that entire city will be fenced up where the public will be kept out. They will say it's a crime scene. They'll say it's hazardous waste. Literally, the same exact agenda, the same exact thing happened in Lahaina, Hawaii, in Maui. They did the exact same thing. That was actually probably a test to see if they could get people to go along with it. Intense fires. And you're like, well, what's fueling the fires? It was a cyber attack, and I can tell you what fueled the fires because they've known that this was going to be a problem. The internet is pretty much scrubbed of it. It's going to take people like me with a decent memory to remind you of who we are dealing with and where we are. This is Mr. Klaus Schwab.
Unable to leave without permission.
After 3 years of planning, city administration is presenting its vision to accommodate a population of 2 million people through 15-minute cities. 3 days of public hearings on the plan began at City Hall this morning. Jalen Skalski has more.
13 nations signed a World Economic Forum treaty to destroy and rebuild major cities before 2030. What just happened in Los Angeles? Matter of fact, you think it's over? No, it's barely just beginning. Right now, as we speak in Los Angeles, this is from today.
Race against the clock in Southern California. Thousands of firefighters hoping to make more progress against those fires before the winds return next week, as some residents are finally getting to see what's left of their homes. Melissa Adon joins us now from Altadena. Melissa, good morning.
Altadena, prime real estate, right above Pasadena. Get the people out of there that you want to. It's on the hills. It's close to nature. Get them out of there. You think this was a failure of city? No. This was a huge success for the Agenda 2030 World Economic Forum agenda. Klaus Schwab, Soros. This is a huge, this is a mega success. You're just looking at it from the wrong angle. Trust me, there's going to be a winner. There's going to be a loser. And the loss is going to be at someone else's expense. Your win is at someone else's expense. Yes, this is a loss for you, but think about it. This is a win for them. You're thinking too small.
Rick, good morning. So in these destroyed communities, crews are still searching through all of this fire damage as there's still more than a dozen that are reported missing. This amid a round of saving winds that are expected in our forecast.
This morning, the long road to recovery as more and more Californians return to what is left of their communities amid lifting evacuation orders.
Doing a lot of ash cleanup. There's ash on the roof. There's ash in the driveway.
From what I know about Altadena, the white people live in Pasadena. The blacks live in Altadena. That's what I learned. That's what I know about it. I grew up in LA. I never really spent a lot of time in Pasadena, met a lot of guys, played sports against them. A lot of them that were from the Altadena, that area along the 210 freeway. It was a lot of black people, a lot of Latino families, but they're all gone. If they didn't have, and think about it, most don't have insurance. Again, if you were given a house or if it was passed down in your family, people become cheap. The kids don't want to pay for it. They were probably going to sell the house anyway. They're not moving back. This isn't being rebuilt. My point with this is that these fires are still going right now. Most of them are only 11 to 15% contained. The other ones that are just starting are 0% contained. The winds are picking up. This is spreading. This is a video from 20 hours ago.
Tonight, as search and rescue crews continue the grim and painstaking process of looking for human remains. Officials overnight releasing some of the names and photos of the more than 30 people still missing. Men and women ranging in age from 49 to 93.
It's a shame. Older people couldn't get out in time, thought it would be okay, thought they could save their house. Again, there's a bigger picture behind all of this. When you think about the people you're going against, they don't believe in human life. They actually want to merge humans with computers and humans with AI and robots, but they have to burn down what we currently have and they have to rebuild. Again, the World Economic Forum treaty to destroy and rebuild major cities. They have to destroy to rebuild, build back better. But they're going to build their own thing. You're not going to be a part of it. You're asking, why would I say that this is a cyber attack? Look at this. This is footage from a few hours ago. That some guy, he flew to California just to make the videos. That is not a campfire. This is, you can look at the fire over here, but you can tell that this looks like the side of the house. This is the source of the fuel. This is where the energy is coming from. What is burning over here that is that is not allowing just the house and the wood to burn out? There's something that's keeping this fire going. There's something fueling the fire. So that was between two houses right there. I'll show you what that is on the side of the house. And I think you guys know where I'm going with this. This is all leading towards, this was a cyber attack, an extremely sophisticated cyber attack that we were warned about, but we were thinking as far as, oh, they distracted you. They told you to watch out for banks, watch out for your bank account, watch out for your internet service. Someone's going to hack your email. No. They're going to hack our city systems. They're going to hack our water supplies. They're going to hack our smart meters. They're going to hack your car's computer. So that way you won't suspect that your car's battery just went. And then you're going to think that it was something else, a gas leak. You're going to think it was a brush fire that just spread. There's something fueling that right here. So before we go into that, I've been warning people about Klaus Schwab for years. If you look at this is my personal Facebook, dozens and dozens of videos of me writing stories and doing reports about this man. But let's talk about it. He says you need to prepare for an angrier world. Are you prepared? Are you angry?
We penetrate the cabinets.
We penetrate the cabinets. This was him talking about how the World Economic Forum now controls the cabinet and the government of Canadians. They also control and influence a lot of the politicians here in the United States and any G7 country, mainly English-speaking countries, but there is an exception when it comes to France and Germany. But the UK, South Africa, United States, Australia, New Zealand, these are all said Canada. So yeah, these are all the countries that they're focused on. G7, first world countries, English speaking, formerly of the Commonwealth. That's who they went after to penetrate the cabinets. They're not doing it all over the world. They don't have access to BRICS nations, but they're doing this to the Western world. And they're not touching those billions of people in China or India. They're going after us.
Change. We have to prepare for a more angry world. How to prepare? Takes the necessary action to create a fair world. I see the need for a great reset. The people assume
if you live in California, your whole world was just reset. If you lived in these areas, if you live anywhere near here, even into the city, your whole world was just reset and you're trying to figure out what to do and where to go. So that's happening, regardless if you believe in it or not.
Actually, we penetrate the cabinets. Trailer, it's 30 seconds.
So they're talking about a cyber attack. Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum ran a simulation called Cyber Polygon a couple of years ago. We didn't understand what it was going to do. They did misdirection. They used hackers from Russia and other countries, and they pretended this was all about going after bank accounts. They didn't want you to know they're looking at city systems, which, especially here in the United States, they're unguarded. Our websites are not encrypted. You can hack any of these things, and that's how they actually hacked the nuclear facilities in Iran the same way. Now they're doing it to us with our systems. They can make your house, and you have no idea that it's about to happen. Watch, I'll tell you.
And stick around for my comments. Here we go. Insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack.
How frightening are these fires that just started out of the blue and you don't even know what's fueling the flames still? Days later, weeks later, these fires are still burning. And it should burn out within a few hours. These houses are burning for a day or two. Where's the fuel source? Why are these houses still burning so intensely?
Which will bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole.
Transportation, power supply, hospital services. He's literally telling you what the cyber attacks that they're practicing for at the cyber polygon, this is what they're going to do. And they're doing it right now. Question is, what do we do about it?
The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance.
The COVID-19 would be seen as a small disturbance when compared to what's coming, is what he's saying. That's a direct threat against us, Americans, people in the free world. He's not directing it towards everyone. He's talking about us. And I can make these kind of videos all day. I'm not even sure what good it's going to do. But at least you know what's coming, because one day, if these computers turn off and there's no more electricity, at least you'll be able to talk to people in person and explain to them what's happening. The fear and the anxiety comes from the unknown. But if you have an answer and you know what's going on, you can calm people down and you can think and make better decisions, be more rational. I can't believe how many of you guys have never seen this face and have never heard this speech. That's scary to me, because this is all I can see and think about for years now, preparing for what's to come.
Did I look like a great movie? It's not a movie. It's Klaus Schwab, and they're meeting in Davos, Switzerland this week. He is head of the World Economic Forum, and that is their plan.
Looks like their plans are coming to fruition. It doesn't seem like they're failing at all. And when they do rebuild and they start expanding these 15-minute cities where everyone's going to live, you think they're not going to track, trace, and database all of you?
Worthy she is. It's called the social credit system, and in one version now being tested, a person's reputation is scored on a scale of 350 to 950. And how you, with a good score of 752, is okay with it. In fact, most people are.
The thing is, the reason they let the crime go so rampant, and the reason they're showing you pictures of little people starting fires and bullshit like that, they want to use the information to say, look, we have to screen out the bad people. We got to keep track of people. We're going to come up with a scoring system. If certain people are bad, we're going to remove them in the name of public safety. They're going to need you to go along with it. And I'll be honest, people in California will go along with it. People in Oregon will go along with it. People in Washington State will go along with it. People here in Texas, only a certain amount of us, and maybe Austin will go along with it. It just depends on how many people are Democrats and how many people are conservatives, is how you're going to find out who's going to go along with this. But remember, this will happen, and there will be Americans that will push and support it. Everything's being rebuilt, and they're going to say we need 24-hour surveillance to make sure people aren't starting fires. We need the surveillance to make sure that people aren't even in your area that shouldn't be there, who are known for that because they have a history and their credit score is too low. They're going to call it something else. They're going to rebrand the name of CBDCs, which are central bank digital currencies. They're going to have to rename everything because you're already aware of these things now because of independent journalists like myself and people who bring the information to you. You can't trust CNN. You can't trust Fox News. Everyone else who was worth listening to has been kicked off the internet. Until we have X, which is what we're on right now, we really didn't have a lot of places to talk amongst each other. We know what's going on, but we need you to know too. I mean, it's no point in just one of us being prepared. So you heard what Klaus Schwab said about the cyber polygon. Let me see here. I'll see what else is about cyber polygon.
Yeah, that has really changed. Thanks to technology, so we are able to join cyber polygon entirely remotely. This training is another step in creating a trusted digital environment and fostering open dialogue to discuss even the most challenging cybersecurity issues.
Nobody can fight these phenomena, which are only going to increase in the next couple of years, this dynamic technological environment.
So they're pretending to simulate cyber attacks. Remember, every terror attack for the most part in the United States that we've had was on the same day that they were doing a simulation. Remember on 9/11, they were running simulations to see what would happen if planes were hijacked and hit the towers. And that's why the guy on when they were calling in about it, the FAA person said, wait, is this the simulation or the real thing? There were simulations on those days. I'm at the Boston Marathon bombing. There were simulations being run that day on a terror attack at a race. They always hide what they're doing behind simulations. That's how they practice.
Sufficient attention to the frightening comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis, all this fell in comparison to a major cyber attack.
Well, I mean, it's looking pretty dark in those areas right now. So let's go to the article I was going to read earlier. The Register. Oh, matter of fact, before we even read this, smart meter push in California. California's utilities are installing smart meters to improve the state's energy infrastructure. Smart meters are digital devices that can measure and communicate energy usage data. Faster outage response, blah, blah, blah. Millions of households are at risk of smart meter snooping. California, PG&E knows smart meters catch fire. PG&E knows smart meters catch fire and they're covering it up. So people know smart meters that are installed on the side of your house. That's why do you think so many people request, let's see here, homeowners request smart meters be moved. Let's see here. Homeowners are requesting that their smart meters are relocated because they pose a risk of fire and explosion. Being remotely detonated, that means that it's connected onto a network. So somebody in another location could literally, with access and with the proper a virus or proper feedback, they can literally access your smart meter and set it to overload. Literally, if one of those things goes, it's going to burn. Your entire house is gone. What are we watching when we look at these videos about California? What's happening? These fires are burning and they're not stopping. It's literally out of control. So you got to keep in mind what's happening. But let's read this article. Hackers could turn your smart meter into a bomb and blow your family to smithereens in a new claim. Smart meters are dangerously insecure. Oh, who else said that? The World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. But no one's connecting these two together. I wonder why. According to researcher Nathaniel Rubin, who claimed the gear uses weak encryption, relies on easily pound protocols, and can be programmed to explode. The software vulnerability hunter derided global efforts to roll out the meters as reckless, saying that their dangerous devices are a risk to all connected smart home devices. So this global rollout is a reckless risk. And I'll tell you the truth. Do you know what else is the same type of risk and no one's talking about how weak the encryption is? Tesla batteries. Those huge Tesla car batteries. Did you know, fun fact, if a Tesla battery exploded, if you called the fire department, there would be nothing that they could do except stand there and watch with you. You cannot use fire to put out a lithium battery fire. A lithium battery explosion, water cannot put it out. So you guys are gonna all just stand there and roast marshmallows. Like there would be no purpose in even calling them, and they're not equipped with the type of futuristic foams that you're going to need to like cover it, because they don't have it. They don't know about it. This technology is new. Hundreds of pound lithium batteries driving 1,000-pound cars to and this is all new. We're not prepared for that. No one knows what to do if these things just blow. No one knows how to put out these fires also. So what they did was they turned off the water so that you would think, even if those hydrants had water, you would not be able to stop one of these smart meters that blew up. The fire would still be coming. It's being fed through your utilities. That's why they didn't turn off the gas. That's why they turned off the water, but not the gas in these areas. So if weak vulnerable access points in their in these digitally connected smart meters means that they can be hacked and they can be remotely detonated to explode. What the fuck do you think did this to these homes in California? You think this was just brush fires and strong Santa Ana winds? You're an idiot.
In the United States, I think you will be in terms of just the costs associated
Something is fueling this.
with it.
And it's not furniture, and it's not the paint, and it's not other electronic devices in the house. Look at this. The trees are there, but the properties are gone. Look at this. And I've seen videos where the only houses that didn't burn were ones that had a certain color roof, but also the other ones that did not have smart meters installed. So you might have had a smart meter on your front house, your back house, you never got it installed. You didn't want to pay that fee. And your back house didn't burn down, but your front house is turned to dust. Like everything's melted. You don't even see a bunch of, a typical house fire, the frame would still be there. You see burned down houses all the time. It happens. It's an accident. These houses have turned to dust. It's my belief that California was hit with a very comprehensive, robust, and powerful, well-organized cyber attack, and that's what leveled our homes and our cities. And right now you think you're battling fires, you're really battling against cyber attacks right now. The thing is, there's nothing you can really do about it. They hack these areas, they can hack the houses. I'm sure they had all these houses on the grid, and they can kind of press a button and make every house's smart meter go in a line all the way down to the beach. They can literally access all the houses in these areas that they don't want humans to live in and make them all go. Calabasas, Agora Hills, Thousand Oaks, they're all on the menu. The fires have not stopped. The fires are not contained. You're not going to be able to contain them because you're looking in the wrong place. These fires source are cyber attacks, not just brush flying in the air and embers, and you didn't groom and clean the grounds properly. Those are all excuses. This is a cyber attack. We were hit. And that's going to be the general consensus that's what I've come up with now. And eventually that will be the general consensus that we will all agree to. This was an attack. They told us it was coming. We didn't properly prepare. Whose fault is that? There's been people telling us that this could happen since 2017. We've known about this. This was actually an issue brought up in 2009 initially, and they did investigations in 2013, and they found evidence that there were people making these claims a long time ago, and we didn't pay attention. We let them install this new technology around us. Why? We didn't need it. You know, there's nothing new under the sun, but trying to reinvent the wheel, it comes at a cost. Now we lost our homes and our cities, and we're not going back. That would defeat the whole purpose of burning you out. To let you come back, build another house that you own, that the city doesn't own, the state doesn't own. In a communist state, that's not how things work. California went communist back in 2020. There is no more, the means of production must be owned by the state. The housing must be owned by the state because they need to make that money themselves. The money going to you as a property owner, you can find ways around paying taxes, or all you're paying is taxes when your houses are worth millions. The land is worth millions. The matter of fact, the beaches and all those areas are worth billions. Why should you have it and not the state? You guys don't understand what it means by controlling the means of production. When these insurance companies pull out, who's going to replace them? The state, the local governments. Who are you going to be paying your premiums to now? The states, the local governments, not an independently owned company with boards of real people that are a part of the public. No. It will now be owned by the state and the local government. You guys don't understand the purpose of being an American is for independence, freedom. You guys call for communism so bad. Why did you want to hear so bad? Why not just go to a communist country? Apply to live in China. Move to Cuba. There's other places you can go. You can go to Canada. Why did you want to bring this here? Why make us change who we are? Why not you just change where you live and go be a communist somewhere else? You can literally move to Utah and build a structure and create your own commune. Why do you want the rest of us to have to suffer and be involved with you? We don't want to do it with you. But it doesn't like we have a choice. They've already pulled the trigger, and I don't know what they got planned for life under the Trump administration. Remember, all of these plans were created under the assumption that Trump would never come back into power. That's why I pushed so hard for Trump to win an American First agenda, because the World Economic Forum and those behind all this said Trump would never come back into power. And if he did, it would be the end of this whole agenda. Because remember, they're old. Most of these men in the World Economic Forum, they'll pass away before Trump is out of office. They're almost 90. They're not getting any younger. So they had to pull the trigger on every agenda they had to pull the trigger. They bullshitted and waited around all these years because they were afraid of getting called to go into jail. But now they're so old, they just went for it, and actually they're having some success. This was a major success for the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, Yuval Noah Harari, Soros Group, the whole Davos Group, the G7. This was an amazing victory. It sucks for you, but in the bigger scheme of things, this was a huge success, and the successes it's going to keep going. I don't know how we can stop these cyber attacks. You can't fix a problem that you won't even acknowledge that you have. No one's reporting on this. I'm actually going to come back on live later on tonight, and I'm just going to specifically talk about how these fires are basically connected to cyber attacks. I'm just going to go over the same data I went over just now. It's just that the name of this video wasn't specifically focused on that. I'm going to do one, and I'm just going to try to condense the information. It's 43 minutes. Obviously, I'm long-winded. I do like to talk and explain stuff, and I like to jump around and show how everything connects, because that's just how my mind works. I'm not on the spectrum, but I just kind of read data a certain way, kind of abstract. But that's how I'm able to make connections from the front to the back. Everybody else is just living in between. I either live in the future or I live in the past. I lived 5 years ago or I live 3 years from now. I'm not really, per se, too involved in the present. So... but I'll be back on in a few hours with more information. But as of now, this is a cyber attack. That's why it looks so confusing to you. That's why you see places keep burning. You don't understand why or how. You've seen fires your whole life. You're not an idiot. And you've never seen the dynamics of a fire. You've never even seen it work like this. We have these fires every year in California. There's nothing new under the sun. This is something different. We are being attacked. So I'll be back on in a few hours. So again, fuck Klaus Schwab, fuck the World Health Organization, fuck the World Economic Forum. We all should be ending our lives like that too. And I mean, look what's happening to our homes. We all should be saying America first. I mean, I say it. But you guys are going to understand the meaning of that soon enough, if you don't already now. We'll be back a little bit later. And here's a word from our sponsor, cosigning.com.
I've been looking for an apartment, but I have horrible credit. Cosigning.com helps you get a cosigner that helps you out to get your dream apartment. Don't let your horrible credit get you down. Cosigning.com has changed the game. I got a cosigner quick and easy. I couldn't have asked for a better service.